Welcome back to Inside Ambition. I'm Alexandra Gordon, and today we're bringing back our segment, COVID Stories. Our first COVID story is with Alexandra Gordon, who was supposed to be the head RA of Van R and is a rising senior. Hi, Alexandra, how are you?
Hi, Alex, how are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to see you. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
So to start, why don't you tell us a little bit about what was going through your head these past couple of months, knowing that you had an RA position in the fall, but also knowing that COVID is happening?
Yeah, I was definitely in a state of uncertainty from the time that we initially got sent home from Drexel. They were supposed to give us our placement back in the end of March and then kept getting pushed off, and then I knew I had a placement, and then as the situation kept getting worse and colleges were going back and they were having all these outbreaks, I kind of anticipated Drexel was going to do something about it because our plan didn't seem super concrete, but I didn't really anticipate losing my job entirely. So I think that I was just kind of going with the flow and seeing what the next steps would be. So definitely a lot of uncertainty.
And for you, what is the value of being an RA, and what did it mean to you when you found out that you had that head RA position and you would be a leader amongst the RAs in your building?
Yeah, so I've been an RA. This would have been my third year, and my first as a head RA. So I think for me, the job is really just being a community leader and a community builder, being a resource for freshmen, first years, and also my fellow RAs. As a head RA, I would be a resource for them, and being that person in a community who really, even if I don't have the answers, I can lead them to someone who does have the answers. So I think that it's just a really important community role, and being in that gave me like a really great sense of purpose at Drexel. I think that it was a really great way to be involved on campus and to meet people who I might not interact with, either within my program or just on a daily basis walking around campus. So I think that I would definitely miss not being able to do what I've done for the past 2 years and welcome not only the freshmen in the first years, but my staff back in the fall. But yeah, it's definitely a very rewarding job.
Yeah. And you mentioned that the RA role deals a lot with the first year experience. What do you think the first year experience is going to be like for incoming freshmen?
I can really only imagine what it's going to be like. I know my first couple weeks, I barely spent any time in the residence halls. I spent most of my time out and about and around campus and around Philly, just meeting people and getting really integrated with the campus, and especially considering Drexel is such a fast-paced 10-week quarter system, learning how to shift from high school, which was a little bit slower and a little bit easier, to college, which Drexel is definitely a very difficult school, and one that I can really only imagine how difficult it's going to be for the first-year students to kind of come into that and have this workload and not be able to access these resources like RAs who are able to help them transition. So I'm hoping that there's some sort of plan put in place to like help people transition, because starting college 100% online is something that I don't know if I could have done it, but hopefully there's a plan in place.
Speaking of plans, I know that there was a lot of planning going into the fall with an expected return to campus. Could you outline a little bit, at least your understanding of what plans for housing looked like, and whether or not you think personally that it was a good idea for Drexel to close housing this fall?
Yeah, from my understanding and from what information we were given, which mostly came out towards the end of the summer, is other colleges started going back and other colleges started coming up with plans. It seems like the single housing was mostly for traditional style residence halls, so that there was some spacing out for people who had to share the common spaces like kitchens and bathrooms and lounges and stuff like that. But suite style, I don't know if we ever got a concrete answer, and correct me if I'm wrong if we got one, about whether they would be spacing people out. Which I hope if we do go back at some point this year, there is more of a concrete answer on that. But it seems like they were kind of just planning on business as usual, which is interesting because I've seen some other schools, even if they haven't done it well, they've at least tried to control some of the crowd and the influx of students. Like I know NYU they've been kind of clowned on for how they've handled the meals, but at least they've been like delivering meals to the buildings and kind of restricting who can go in and out and how many people they can have contact with. And I don't think Drexel really had a plan like that at all. They were just kind of planning on going back regularly, which I think we've seen in other cases how that hasn't worked.
Yeah, so maybe we avoided some bad things, which is a light in this whole situation. Do you have any advice for incoming freshmen who might be watching as a former RA, even though obviously none of us know how to handle a virtual college experience? What would you say to a resident on your floor?
Oh man, I mean, I'm definitely going to miss doing the whole part of getting freshmen integrated and first year students integrated. So I think that having some sort of resource that they can connect to and having a space where they can disconnect from the college work, because it's definitely going to be a lot going 100% online, just straight into college in whatever environment they're in, whether it's their own space or a parent's house or a friend's house, wherever they may be living. Finding someone who maybe they can reach out to if they know a Drexel person. If they want to reach out to me, I really wouldn't mind answering any questions, or if they have a counselor, an advisor, the counseling center, just other resources on campus that are still offering some sort of leadership online and some sort of guidance online, just because going into college 100% online is something that I don't think, as I said, I don't think I would be equipped to do it. And I think that going into it 100% alone, as they probably have finished out their senior year of high school, is definitely like a big transition. So finding someone to help with that transition is really important.
That was really sweet that you just offered if anyone wanted to reach out to you. I feel the same way. I'm like, oh, freshmen, we're here to help. So what's next for you? I mean, this is your senior year. This is a big deal. Something a lot of people have looked forward to for a long time. And now that you're out of housing, what are your plans for your senior year?
I mean, most of my time is probably going to be spent doing what I've been doing, which is finishing all my classwork. I'm also in the process of applying for graduate school at Drexel, so I'll probably get a couple more years of the Drexel experience, so it's exciting. And like creating an art portfolio for that, because that's part of the application. And just hanging out with my dogs and coping as usual, finding new hobbies and things to try out, because I really haven't left the house. So I'm just trying to stick with it until hopefully we can go back to campus. If not, then just waiting until virtual graduation, counting down the days.
Well, thank you so much, Alexandra, again, for taking the time to be on our show. And thank you for offering your services to incoming first years. We'll make sure to link your email below if that's okay with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to like, comment, and share below. And if you're not already following our Instagram, it's @inside_ambition. And make sure you subscribe to this channel for Drexel Television. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.